Welcome to Roots and Branches of Lehi, the podcast where we get to know the faces, stories, and lives that make up our community. I'm Ryan Harding, and I started this podcast as a way for us all to connect with the people we live alongside. Growing up in a small town, I learned that connections go beyond blood. They're built through shared experiences, friendships, and the moments we celebrate together. Each week, we'll sit down with someone new from Lehi to share their unique story, their passions, and what they love most about living here. So whether you've been here for years or just arrived, join us as we deepen our roots and reach out to our branches one story at a time. Welcome, Gary Rogers, to Roots and Branches of Lehi, where we get to know you a little bit better and just get to know you. So this will be a good opportunity. Talk to me a little bit about yourself. You grew up in Lehi. Where are you from originally?
I was born in the old Lehi hospital.
Okay.
My aunts were nurses there.
Yeah.
And so my mom wanted to have the kids there.
Sure, yeah.
But I actually grew up in Salt Lake.
In Salt Lake, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Came down here, had the baby, and went back to Salt
and then
Lake.
went back in. Nice.
So,
I like it. And
so I grew up in Salt Lake up by the mouth of Parley's Canyon.
Okay.
My whole life till I was 18 up there.
Yeah. And tell me what life was like back a long time ago. Tell me about those days, I guess.
It seemed like we got more snow.
Yeah, sure, yes.
And living up there by the mouth of Parley's Canyon, we got a lot of snow, and it was always fun to play in the winter as a kid.
Yeah.
And had to walk to school because they didn't have bus service. It was close enough but far enough away.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, it was a great place to grow up and have fun, enjoy it up there.
And
so,
what did your dad do for work?
Originally, he had a shop before World War II over where Olive Garden is, over in American Fork.
Okay.
He went into service, and when he came out, the owner of the place had rented out to someone else, so he had no place to work.
Okay.
So he bought a shop in Lehi, right next to Verns where the overpass is for the high school.
Yeah.
Built a shop there and worked there for a few, 4, 5, 6 years, had the business there, and then went to work for General Motors and the Chevrolet division.
Okay.
So because they had several different divisions. And that's probably where I got my start, or my interest, my love of automotive was being around that, because he started out as a warranty adjuster, and then he went into being an instructor for the Chevrolet new car products and stuff. Okay. So he was always training, and I was involved as a kid, watching him help set up the classes and do that kind of stuff, and I just really fell in love with it, interested, and always liked working with my hands and making things and doing things. Yeah. And that's how it's all evolved. And through school and high school, they called it the Plymouth Troubleshooting Contest. Okay. That for seniors, they only picked 2 from every high school in the state to participate in it. Yeah. And we placed second.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they actually put bugs in the car, and then we had to figure out what the problem was and how to fix it and take care of it. And so we had a fun time doing that. And so I've always had an interest in automotive and loved it, and so I did that all my life. So
that's awesome. So they just took just an old car.
No, they were brand new cars.
Brand new cars. Okay.
They were brand new Chrysler, Plymouth. Basically set it up and did it. Yeah. Took brand new cars, and they would put like a bad spark plug in it, or a bad spark plug wire, or missing components or whatever. Yeah. And we had an hour to figure out what it was and get it running correctly.
Wow. Okay.
And, so
that's super cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Do they still do that? Or
no.
Okay.
No.
Oh.
Ford started a thing like that, but no, none of them do it anymore, just expense and everything.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was a great experience for high school kids to be able to learn how to do it. Yeah. And they had many to isolate who's going to be in the finalists. They had little classes in each high school until they picked the 2 from each high school to participate in it. And so me and another guy were the ones for Skyline. I went to school at Skyline High School in Salt Lake. Okay. And we took second place, which was cool.
That is cool.
We just missed it because one of the spark plug wires wasn't clipped in the way they wanted it, and so they docked us 20 minutes for that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I enjoyed that. I started working at a shop in Salt Lake, an alignment shop called Bob Stuckey Company. They're not around anymore. Yeah. But just basically cleaning and doing odd things, and then they showed me more about the alignments and brakes and stuff, and kind of trained me. And I worked there for 2 years. And then Sears Fashion Place opened up, an automotive department, and I went to work for them and worked for them for 3.5 years. Okay. And I did everything there. So I was one of their lead techs there. Even though I was young,
Sure.
I could do most everything that
Yeah.
a lot of them couldn't do.
Yeah.
Because my dad's experience teaching and training me,
Yeah.
as well as just doing it,
Yeah.
everything else. So it worked out good.
Yeah, it sounds like your dad obviously had a big impact on you then, as far as,
Yeah.
because you said you did get to follow him around and be a part of things.
They call it the training center. It was a big building where they actually had the different divisions separated out, and they'd do classes. All the automotive dealerships would send technicians up there
Okay.
to do the training, and he would be the one training. So at night, he'd have to set up for the next day. So I
Okay.
would go with him up to the training center as he was setting things up, and
Yeah.
got to experience that. So
Sure.
it was fun to spend time with him and stuff.
Sure. Yeah, good father-son
Yeah.
bonding time.
Yeah.
But also, hey, you're developing a skill you probably didn't even know at that time you were going to use
Yeah.
long-term,
Yeah,
right?
probably, yeah.
It was probably just,
So-
hey, I like hanging out with Dad,
Yep,
right?
yeah.
And then
It
you
was
got-
good, yeah.
Good.
And
Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
I was just say he worked for them for 16 years, and then he went to work after that for a company selling automotive test equipment, Sun Electric.
Okay.
And I was working at Sears for the 3 years, and he had a stroke, and they needed someone to help him to take part of his area because he covered basically from Salt Lake all the way south
Okay.
in Utah, and he was as a salesman selling automotive diagnostic equipment.
Yeah.
And so I went to work for Sun Electric, taking part of his area selling automotive diagnostic equipment. So I had to sell it to the dealers, to the mechanic shops,
Okay.
gas stations, people like that.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to train them on how to use it to figure out the problems on the cars.
Okay. Oh, wow. So you said after his stroke and stuff like that, you took over some of his job then? And really,
Yeah. And it was a nationwide company, and they were based out of Chicago, Illinois. And so I worked for them, but basically they split his area because he couldn't handle it all. So
Sure.
I took half of the state, and he took the other half of it, so he could stay local.
And so he was
So-
still employed then. He still got to
Yeah.
do his job,
But not
you-
as big an area.
But not as big of an area.
Yeah.
That's
So,
really cool.
yeah.
I don't think that happens very often. A lot of times it's, hey, sorry,
Yeah.
you can't do this, or somebody, but to have
Yeah.
the son step in, that's unique.
Yeah, the company was good to work for, took care of him and me.
Yeah.
And he only worked for him for about another 4 years after that, after
Okay.
I had started for him, before he retired, just because his health was bad.
Sure.
But I worked for him for 18 years.
Wow. You worked for that company?
Sun Electric.
For Sun, okay.
Yeah,
For 18
years.
Okay.
And then they were bought out by Snap-on Tool Company.
Okay.
And at that point in time, I said, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I was a salesman, but I knew how to work on cars and do
Sure.
that because I had to train them how to do it and
Sure.
everything.
So you hadn't lost those skills.
Yeah. And so that's when I decided maybe it's time to open my own shop and do my own thing. So that's when in 90, they bought us out in 92, and I made the decision, okay, we're going to open up Rogers Automotive.
Okay.
And so that's when I started Rogers Automotive and been working at that up until 2.5 years ago.
Okay. And so 2.5 years ago,
So I put my 30 years in.
yes, you did. Yes, you did.
With Rogers Automotive.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, I basically turned it over to my son, Michael,
Okay.
who is running it now.
Okay.
And it's pretty unique because his son is working there now, too.
Oh, wow. So you got multi-generational.
I hope that it's going to be a 3-generation thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we'll see. You never know.
Was your grandfather interested in
He was
cars?
actually a principal
Okay.
of the high school over in Pleasant Grove.
Okay.
And so he had no automotive interest or desire in it
Yeah.
at all. And I don't know where my dad got the interest in it, but
Yeah.
he liked it, and I liked what he did, and I've enjoyed working on things and doing things all my life.
Did any of your siblings take on your dad's?
No, so and I have 3 sons. One of them, my oldest one, is taking over the business.
Yeah.
And the other one likes playing in the dirt. He has his own construction company.
Nice. Like it.
He loves the dirt. And the other one is into IT.
Okay.
So
More
technical
technology and stuff like
yeah.
that. Okay. Sure.
But yeah, none of them had any interest in taking over the business. Every one of my kids have had a chance to work at the shop.
Okay.
Either cleaning or bookkeeping or whatever.
So talk to me about that for a minute. Let's, from a family perspective. So obviously, you said so one son has followed you into this,
Right.
but the other 2 not so much.
Uh-huh.
But you were still able to use that business to help teach your kids certain
yeah.
skills, right? Or talk to me about
Yeah.
that, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, they've all had a chance to work there. The girls, they did cleaning, but a little bookkeeping and stuff because my wife helped with the books and stuff. So they've all learned a skill from it.
Yeah.
And it was good. It's not something they wanted to pursue as a career.
Sure. Yeah.
But they had a chance to work, make some money, and be able to see what it's all about, how
Sure.
family businesses ran and everything.
Yeah.
So it's worked out good. And I've had some of my grandkids work there too to make a
that's
few
awesome.
extra bucks.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
Good on you for giving them that opportunity. But at the same time, again, we all have different interests. My dad was in the medical field, and I loved his job, and I wanted to be like my dad, but I had no interest in medicine. Like blood and guts just didn't appeal.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to because
Yeah.
I loved my dad, and I liked what he
Right.
was interested in. But just personally, I was more business minded. I enjoyed that kind of stuff. And,
Yeah.
But I'm glad that. So talk to me. Let's go back to 1992.
93
Okay.
is
So
when we
93.
opened the shop.
So talk to me. Just somebody that's interested in starting a business. How scary to do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Very scary.
Yeah, there was a lot of the unknown,
Yeah.
and a lot of things as you get into it. Oh, I didn't know I had to pay this fee or that tax or this.
Sure.
So there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really afraid of not being able to fix the cars, because not only did I feel like I had the skill set to do it, but have been working through basically the whole state of Utah with contacts with
Yep.
with other shops, dealerships, school teachers, colleges, all of that.
Sure.
I knew that if I ran into a problem like that, that I had a resource to go to be
Yep.
able to find out.
Yeah.
But the business part of it was a little bit different. But there again, I had, as when I worked for Sun Electric selling equipment and stuff, I'd gone into a lot of different shops, from a single one-bay garage owner to multi-level dealerships, Larry Miller's, all of those kind of places to
Sure.
sell equipment. And so I really looked at it and said, what's working here and what's not working?
Yeah.
So I was able to take that information and those skill sets basically into my own business to
Yeah.
help set it up, which has been, it was a good help, good start.
That makes a lot of sense. In fact, that is sometimes what happens for entrepreneurs is whether they have another position. Typically, you don't start from high school and then start your own
Right.
business, right?
Yeah,
Everybody
cold turkey
wants that,
into-
but it just doesn't happen. And I think you're speaking to a point of, hey, you got to see how other businesses were run, and then you
Right.
copied the parts that you liked
Yeah.
into your own business is what happened,
Yeah.
I'm guessing. So
Yeah, and back in '93 when we first started into it, computers were just starting to come about and stuff.
Okay.
They had been out for a few years, but that was one thing I knew that I wanted to do, was make sure everything was done on the computer for tracking and paperwork,
Okay.
instead of having to fill out all the journals and track it and do
Yep.
all of that. Because I had seen both
Yeah.
going into the shops.
Yep. And so
You
you were
know.
ahead of your time, or at least right on the forefront of it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was interesting when I first started my shop and the word got out to the other shops in the area. Some were really happy and others weren't so happy. Of
course.
And I had one come to me and said, why don't you just come work for me instead of you opening your own shop?
Yeah,
You know,
of
I
course,
said,
yeah.
no, I don't want that.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
So
So when you started, did you start, was it just you, or did you have some employees too?
originally when I first started, my father-in-law had basically retired from Kennecott and was doing construction on his own.
Okay.
And he was getting older, and he just felt he was looking for something different too. And I says, why don't you come in with me and you can do the parts up in the front counter part, and I'll
Yeah.
take care of the service in the back.
Okay.
So he thought that maybe that would work out okay. And it was pretty overwhelming, where he'd never really used computers
Sure.
or looked up parts in books or anything.
Sure.
Yeah, he lasted 4 months and said, I'm done.
Done. Okay.
I'm
yeah.
done. So,
Retirement is for me. I'm
Yep.
good.
it was a good experience to bond with him a little bit more and stuff, so
Sure.
it worked out. But so it was just me and him at first, and then my son was in high school, and after school he would come down and help
Yeah.
with different things. And I managed for about 3 or 4 months on my own, and then I finally hired another person to help me out and stuff. And he was okay, but he didn't have the skill set that I needed.
Okay.
And so I ended up working harder to repair his problems and stuff.
Sure.
As time went on, then we hired another guy that worked out pretty good, and learning experience as time goes.
Yeah.
So
That is always the hard thing with employees, is you're trying to replicate yourself, and some of these guys aren't you.
Yeah.
To your point, having to repair his problems. And
Yeah.
so. What about the building? Was that, like, from a cost perspective? I'm assuming there was some initial outlay to I don't know if you bought or rent the building at first
well,
and
we
stuff.
found the building. It was on State Street, and it was part of an old wrecking yard body shop
Okay.
that had closed up, and the building sat on a different angle.
Okay.
And so it wasn't real visible from State Street,
Okay.
but it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
So anyway, come to find out, Wilfred Brimley owned it.
Oh.
the movie star, and my
Okay.
father-in-law had done some work for him on his ranch that he built here in Lehi.
Okay.
Water lines, sewer lines, and stuff like that. So he knew him pretty good.
Okay.
So we talked to him and found out that it was his wife that owned it because they were splitting.
Okay, sure.
And so we went and talked to her, and she said, well, why don't you just rent it until you find out if it's going to work? And I said, no, that's a good idea, but I don't want to go down that road. I want, if it does work, you're going to raise the price.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure.
So,
I just want to have it. It's
yep.
on it to be mine.
So my father-in-law and I went in partners on the building.
Okay.
And bought it. And then, of course, after he decided it wasn't for him, then I bought him out of all of that.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was a little scary going into it.
Again, risk. I mean, there's a greater reward too. Obviously, you owned the business then.
Yeah.
And
So I did a lot of remodeling on the building because it's by the tracks up there. Union Pacific used to go by, and it was so loud. So we closed all the windows in on that one side of the track, and made the building more usable for what we needed it for.
Yeah.
And it worked out good, and we did that for quite a few years. And then in 2009, the Corner Mart that was next to us, a little convenience store, they got shut down, selling to underage. And I expressed several times to him that if you ever do close up, I'm interested in your building and stuff. And we had used his parking lot anyway, a lot of it.
Sure.
And so he approached me and says, yeah, I'm done. I'm out of here. So I bought that building in 2009.
Okay.
So now I have 2 buildings on State Street there, which gave us better exposure and more parking and stuff too.
Yeah.
And that worked out better. And then we started to hire a few more employees and have a few more headaches and things. But it's been good. So
how many employees? So you just retired 2.5 years ago. But where did you end up as far as employees go and stuff like that?
We had 7, counting myself when I retired, and that's about where they're at right now too.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
So it's working good.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to have more, but we just don't have any room to put anybody else.
Sure,
we got eight stalls to work in.
Yeah.
And with 4 people out in the shop working the stuff, I have 4 out in the shop, 1 service writer, and then kind of the guy that bounces between it all. And there's just not enough room for everybody.
Sure. And what kind of work do you do then? Is it just routine stuff, or is it like, hey, diagnosing major problems and stuff like that?
Well, it's general automotive repair, and we do Asian and domestic. We don't get into any European, but we get a lot of other shops problems. Sometimes we even get a few that the customers get frustrated with the dealer and they bring them into us.
Really? Okay.
And we find the problems.
Okay.
Electrical problems and other things that some people are just having a hard time trying to figure out.
Sure.
We take our skills, and sometimes it takes a while, but we do figure it out usually. I can't think of any time we've just thrown our hands in there and said, we're done with this car. We've been able to work through it to the end.
Talk to me about that. Obviously you get a thrill out of that being able to say that, right? That, hey, no, we always solve the problem, right?
Yeah, it's a challenge, but it's a good feeling when you're done because you feel like I accomplished that.
Sure.
Sometimes you look at it and go, man, that wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Did I need the brownie points to say I accomplished it with?
Sure.
I needed the money to pay the bills and everything else.
Sure, because sometimes the money, you're not getting paid much more for finding this out, but I just want to figure it out.
Yeah, that's like when we first started the first few years. Lehi was small. We only had 8,000 people in the town.
Sure.
So it wasn't a big town. So we basically had to do whatever they wanted to do, whatever they needed us to do.
Yeah.
I remember several times we were open Saturdays when we first opened too. That seemed like it was everybody's project. They'd bring it in a box and say, I can't put this together. Can you put it back together for me?
Yeah.
And it finally got to the point that 1 day off a week wasn't enough, so we closed Saturdays too.
Okay.
But yeah, it was good. People, we did a lot of work, farm equipment and everything else. And,
really?
And now it's progressed to the point that we can pick and choose a little bit more of our work. We don't work on farm tractors anymore. So
yeah.
And we do engines. We don't basically overhaul them because it's easier for us just to take one that the manufacturer's rebuilt, and we'll install it and get it running.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of companies out there that specialize in rebuilding it, and then we install them.
Okay. So nobody's, why? Okay, that makes sense.
We can do that, but it's not cost effective.
I was just going to say, from a cost perspective,
right?
Yeah, you got to go with where you're making the money.
That's exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And like some of the older cars, fortunately, there's a couple of other shops in town that will work on some of the older cars.
Sure.
Because you just can't get parts for them, and it just takes so much time away from making money on something else.
Sure.
To fix a 1960 car.
Yeah.
So we just have to look at what's cost effective, where we can make the money that we need to make, and get the customers happy and going.
Talk to me about just automotive in general. You said 1993, we're now 2025.
Yeah.
You said computers were at the beginning. Now cars are computers.
Yeah.
So talk to me about how automotive has changed over that 30 years.
Yeah, it's changed a lot because now we have a lot more computers on the cars. Everything's electronic. Everything is interfaced. Even the window levers, switches to roll the windows up and down, all go through a body control computer. Yeah. And if you don't have the equipment to program that switch to the body control, you can put a new switch in, but it still won't do anything.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it seems like we're constantly upgrading on our diagnostic equipment to be able to do it too.
Sure.
And just like the emission program, they're changing the emission program.
Sure.
Come January 1st, on the equipment that we're using right now won't be used anymore.
Okay,
we had
interesting.
To buy all new equipment and everything to proceed next year with the program.
And what's changing, I guess, on that?
It used to be when it first came out, we always had to do a tailpipe probe, where you put the machine in the tailpipe and you look at the gases coming out of the car. Yeah. It's getting to the point in 95, they changed and went to what they call OBD2, Onboard Diagnostics 2, which is where you plug the connector into the vehicle and the machine analyzes the computer on the car. And the computer on the car is what's monitoring all the emission devices. And if anything's out of normal, then it sets the check engine light comes on, the little check engine light, and then the car won't pass emissions. And so now, in 93, we've been 30 years plus, and the cars in 95, everything had to do it. So I don't need to even do that anymore. So they're not going to have an exhaust probe for the tailpipe anymore. It's all going to be computer. You're going to have a tablet that you basically plug into the diagnostic connector on the car, and the computer on the car is going to tell the tablet, I'm good, or I got a problem here, or I got a problem there. Okay. And so
interesting.
It's technology changes.
It's just constantly changing. So you're having to constantly adapt as you do the business and
with
stuff.
With equipment and knowledge and everything else. So we do take a few classes now and then on stuff that the manufacturers provide to be able to look like electric cars, computers on the cars, and things like that. So we have to stay on top of that too.
Do you repair electric cars? Do you do anything with electric cars?
Yeah, we do. Like the Priuses have been out for a long time. We've done a lot of work on those. And the Teslas, not as much because they kind of like to keep it
in-house,
proprietary information and parts and everything else. So it's harder to get parts and information on that unless you're a
Tesla dealer or
certified Tesla and technician. But we still have plenty of that to do, plenty of work with the cars that are out there.
That's great.
And the electric ones too. It's an evolving program the whole time.
And I like that you're taking, so do you, with obviously your employees and stuff like that, you're just on the job training in that regard, or you said classes and stuff?
Yeah.
Because I would assume you have to continue to learn, right?
They just went to an air conditioning class 2 weeks ago on the new air conditioning systems and stuff. They're using, this is like a fourth new Freon that they've come out with, and the systems change, and then we have to stay up to date and certified in that area too. So we had to go to a 3-night class and get certified with the new Freon and everything to be able to know how to use it and properly do it. And you can't even buy Freon without a certificate saying that you're certified and know how to handle it and stuff. So it's always evolving, always getting certified, changing and things like that. And unfortunately, there's companies out there that specialize just in training. So they'll say, hey, we have a class this next month coming up on, we went to one the other day on diesel fuel injection. We don't do a lot on diesels, but we do enough that it's, we need to know this stuff too. So they give us a book and a certificate saying that we figured out how to do it. So it's not like it used to be. The shade tree mechanic can fix it into the a lot of changes, a lot of technology.
What would you recommend if I have a child that's trying to figure out what to do with their life and stuff like that? Is automotive a good career for them? What would they do to prepare? Talk to me about that just from a youth standpoint.
There's the thing about automotive industry is there's a lot of options and different ways to go. It isn't just working on the car. You can be a salesman selling the parts, or a salesman selling the tools or the equipment or anything that way, as well as if you wanted to get into engineering and figuring out the software. And when you start looking at a car and you divide it into the metal parts and the electrical parts and the software and even tires, tires have changed. So there's a lot of different avenues to take.
Yeah.
So you just have to look at it and say, I'm really interested. I really like this. I'd like to pursue this.
Sure.
I guess the way I looked at it when I first started is I just got to be in a shop somewhere where I can see what's going on.
Yeah.
And that was cleaning the floors and stuff and be able to look at it and see what's going on and going, yeah, I'm interested in this, or, yeah, I don't know that this is really for me or not.
Sure.
And we get customers that ask us if their kid can work there doing that kind of stuff. And we do that every once in a while for them too.
Yeah.
And some progress and some don't.
You said the 7 that you have, are they younger, older? Is this more of a part-time job for youth, or is this more of a career job for?
We have one that he's 18.
Okay.
He's graduated. He just kind of cleans and runs and does stuff like that. But it ranges from that to 45, 46.
Sure. Okay. So, career job, right? You know, able to feed a family and take care of your family and do this with it.
And most of my employees, they're Mike's employees. But,
Sure.
I feel like they're still,
I'm with you. It's 2.5 years. That's not that long. You're still basically there.
But my service writer on the front counter has been there for 12 years with us.
Okay.
One of the other technicians that does the emissions and brakes and more easier things than that. Yeah. He's been there for 12 years.
Okay.
And then the other's been there for 9 years. Yeah. So then my grandson's been there for 2 years now.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, it can be a career thing. And,
good.
And then we try to look at it as a career for our employees.
Yeah.
So after they've been there for so long, we do give them a retirement program too.
Good.
And vacation too.
Yeah, good.
Which not a lot of shops do that.
Sure. So you really do try to treat it as you want them to stay, take care of them, your employees. And good.
And we like them, and they seem to like us. So that's
so it's a win-win. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Talk to me about working with your son and stuff like that. How has that been? How long has he been at that place with you then?
He was 15.
Okay. And if he's got a kid, he's older, then obviously.
Yeah, he's 45, 46 now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been with me for a long time, so he's seen it from the very beginning as we grow and all the growing pains and frustrations and everything. But he's done well, and he likes it, so obviously he's going to be there.
He better like it, right?
Yeah.
Has that been fun to, obviously, not only just with him, but you said also the family and stuff like that? Anything else you'd speak to on is just from a family standpoint, I guess?
It was fun. It's fun working with the family members and stuff. And like I said, I've had every one of my 6 kids work there at one point or another. Yeah. And it can be frustrating at times, but it can be real rewarding too, because you build a bond with them. So. Yeah.
Any business applications or what am I trying to ask? What are some things you've learned from owning a business? Forget just the mechanical part, because I'm sure there's some principles that apply to anybody with any business that's looking at it. What things have you learned from owning a business for the last 30 years?
It's important that you get your margins so that you can make the money that you need.
Sure. Yeah, it has to be profitable.
Yeah, because, at first, when you first start into it, I haven't done this, and I didn't know I needed to charge this much in order to make it profitable.
Sure.
And the first year was real tough. We didn't make as much money as we had hoped to. And, and there's been a lot of ups and downs. But overall, it's been pretty good. And figuring it out and learning from it, and the people that you get to know, your customers and stuff. Yeah. You have good and bad customers and everything, but we have some that are, so you're my customer. Why are you being so nice to me?
Sure.
But but it's been good. I got some real good old-time customers in Lehi that taken care of us, and we've taken care of them. Yeah. So it's been really good.
And so speak to that, I guess, for a minute, too. You mentioned, obviously, you've been in Lehi now
I've lived in Lehi for almost 50 years, 49 years.
And I never asked you what brought you here to Lehi then, I guess?
Well, when I was growing up in Salt Lake, I liked going to school up there and spending time up there. But my parents were from Pleasant Grove and Lehi, the Strasburgs, which is a pretty old family from here. Yeah. And they wanted to move back down here to be closer to the family and relatives and stuff. Sure. So they built a home by the cemetery and moved down here in 72. And I stayed up there until I almost finished high school, till March, and then I had to drive from here to Skyline every day for 2 months.
Sure, wow.
So then I moved down here with them, and so that's basically what brought them down here, and that's what brought me down here. And I got married 2 years after I moved down here. Okay. Moved back to Sandy because I thought I wanted to be back in Salt Lake. Yeah. I was there for about 2.5 years and said, I want to get back to Lehi.
Sure, yeah.
And so my wife and I built a home in Lehi, and raised our kids there. And then when the company made the changes that they did, it's like, it's time to open a business now and try that.
Why not close to home?
See if it works. Yeah, I'm 1 mile from my shop.
Okay. Yeah.
And as a crow's fly, I'm only a half mile, but I have to go around the freeway.
Sure. Fair enough.
But yeah, that's basically what brought us back to Lehi and why we started a business in Lehi.
Okay.
And it's been a good career and good life.
Yeah, good. You mentioned, so, your clients and stuff like that. What impact do you think you've had on Lehi itself as far as,
I, just like today when we went to lunch, I ran into two of our old customers that they knew I'd retired. They said, "Oh, we haven't seen you." And I'm not down there every day anymore.
Sure, yeah.
But it was good for them to be able to know who I am.
Yeah.
Not just, "Oh, you're the owner of that company." They know me personally.
Yeah, good.
And that. So I feel like I've had an impact with a lot of good customers in Lehi.
Yeah.
Now that it's grown to where it's almost 100,000 people, I don't know all the customers and I'm not there all the time. But the original ones, that when I first started the business, we have a relationship that we can know each other on first name basis and stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've had a good effect on Lehi, on the people that we worked and helped out in the beginning.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of those are older and are starting to leave us now,
Sure.
dying off. But yeah, it's been a good relationship.
Good. Yeah, which I think you're not just trying to make money. You're trying to be part of a community. You care about actually people. It has to be profitable, but you try to take care of people and form those relationships.
Yeah, and if we make a mistake, they let us know about it, and we'll take care of it.
Yeah, good. So you stand by your work.
Right, and so that's helped build a reputation in town, too, that they know, and we can take care of things. So it's been good.
Where do you see the company going over the next 10, 20 years? Any major changes or kind of business as usual over the next 10, 20 years?
My son's talked about expanding. He'd like to build a new building, and that's a lot of money. So I don't know if he's going to do it on the property that's there. I don't think he'll leave the property, but I'm not sure if he can acquire any more property around there either.
Sure.
He's thought about that. But I think for the most part, I'll just probably continue like it is.
Yeah. Would the building, would a brand new building help with, you mentioned tools that you have to get for like the emissions that change. Are there other things that would help with a new building? Is that kind of his idea behind it?
It's just, the building is just set funny on the property. He would like to have it more visible from State Street to make it look just a new building. That building that we're in now is built in '54.
Okay, so it's old. Yeah, okay.
It still works good. We've taken care of it and stuff, but it would just like young people always have the idea, let's make it bigger and better.
Sure. Yeah,
Until they start to see how much it is.
Well, there's always a cost, right? Yeah. If it's an investment and it doesn't get you more business, more visibility, like you said, and stuff, I can see there's always a benefit to it. But
as far as the business itself goes, I basically think it'll continue like it is.
Okay. And are you still invested in the business, a silent partner?
I own the buildings.
Okay.
The plan is 4 more years, he'll start buying the buildings from me. That's my retirement.
That's your retirement. Sure. Yeah. Hey, that's good.
So,
that's good. So you want this business to keep going for many reasons, I'm sure, just for your own legacy and stuff like that, something that you built that's...
Yeah, because it is cool to be able to say, I started that.
Yeah.
My son is running it now, and my grandson is working there.
Love that.
That hopefully he'll take it over in another 30 years, you know?
No, talk about legacy and just, I agree. I think that's super cool.
So, that's the idea. That's what we're hoping for.
Good. I've been enjoying this conversation. I forgot. I have
the outline and stuff. Yeah, I just basically like working on cars, and I don't know if there's any... I like General Motors probably more than any of them because my dad worked for General Motors.
Sure.
And he had a lot of the special tools. Of course, those have been outdated now. That was the area, the direction that I went and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I still enjoy the cars. When my son gets too busy, sometimes he'll bring one up to my house so that he'll ask me to help him with it or whatever.
Sure.
That's more in the summertime because summer's usually our busiest time. And
Sure.
get slammed, so air conditioning work or whatever.
It keeps your skills tuned down because, like anything, I'm sure you start to lose it if you're not using it.
He still comes up and says, "Go for a ride with me so we can listen to this and tell me what you think." So,
sure.
Because diagnosing it's easy to just put a part on and say I fixed it, but to figure out which part and what you got to do to fix it, that's the hard part.
Sure.
So,
what actually is, Yeah. Any stories that stand out to you over the 30 years of running that business? Any clients that stand out or problems that stood out? Anything that stands out from those 30 years that worth sharing?
Yeah, there's always little problems here and there. There's been a few times I had to spend all night down there fixing problems that was created during the day.
Sure.
But we got it fixed, got the customer taken care of and stuff. But yeah, we had one car that was from Sanpete County. It was down from Mount Pleasant.
Okay.
And they were going home, and a deer ran in front of them, and they went off the road, and the car died.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't start again, and they took it to 3 different shops in Nephi, Mount Pleasant, down in that area. And finally, they had heard about us, so they towed it all the way from there up to Lehi so that I could look at it and try to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time on that, a lot of nights, because you don't have the time during the day to do it because you're thinking so much.
Sure.
But yeah, we finally did figure out the problem and stuff, and we thought for sure it was an electrical problem, but it wasn't an electrical problem. It was a little tiny pin on the camshaft that had sheared and let the timing on the valves change, and it wouldn't let the car start. And when we found that, it was like, oh, thank goodness. But it was a real challenge. I spent a lot of time figuring that one out.
And do you think, you mentioned 3 different shops, and they all, nope, and you were able to do it. What do you think, why is that? Why did you fix it? Is it just you spent more time on it? You're able to, you don't quit on it? Is that maybe it?
That's probably a lot of it too, but diagnostic skills, figuring out what is going on, what's happening and stuff, and reasoning it out. I tease my wife all the time about logic.
Sure.
You got to have logic to be able to think this stuff out. You know, common sense, logic. Sure. And it just took time. But when I found it, it's like I wanted to go back to those shops and say, "Look, I found this.
Here's the error. Here's what it was." Sure. Yeah.
But probably a lot of it, they weren't making any money and just didn't want to hassle with it anymore. So just ship the thing, get it out of here.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah.
But I can tell you enjoy your job. You're doing this in your spare time, just trying. Okay, I want to figure this out. And I'm sure, to your point, if you figure out your hourly wage for that, it's probably like very little, right? You know what I mean?
Cents an hour.
Yeah. So from a financial standpoint, it wasn't worth it. But maybe that's the key there for a business. So that project itself, there wasn't much money in there, but to have a reputation as the guy that does fix things and the place that does do it.
And it's helped because we've had that reputation. We're getting stuff from other shops here in town and other places too. Because
they can fix it. If anybody can fix it, they'll fix it. So that's good. So that's what I'm saying. I think it's helped you build that brand or that reputation there. Yeah. Even though individually, sure, there's not much money in that one car, and it probably wasn't worth it. Yeah. But it was in a bigger sense, right?
Yeah, that's like when we first started, I had farmers say, "Can you fix this tractor, fix that?" And so I really don't have the manuals and the information, but some logic can try to figure it out. Sure. When my son would always say, "We're not making any money on this," but we did it, we fixed it and got it going for him and stuff. So you just have to get to a point of, I just can't prove to everybody that I can fix this and do it because I got to make money to be able to support it and pay the bill. Yeah. But it is fun. It is a challenge.
Yeah. So, again, I can tell you like it. I can tell you enjoy that kind of stuff. Do you have a favorite model that you like to work on? You mentioned General Motors, but is there a favorite kind of car that you like to work on?
I don't know. A Corvette would be a lot of fun to own.
Sure.
Hard to work on, but I love trucks. Okay. I spend most time working on trucks and doing things and doing that. Yeah. I don't know if there's any one particular model or anything, but there's just a lot of fun, but more General Motors favored than anything.
And is there a common car issue you wish more people knew how to prevent? Any kind of, just from hey, we all own cars. Hey, here's a tip for people.
During the summer, we used to, probably not as much now, but used to always get people that were coming over the point of the mountain and the little red light comes on saying it's overheated. Yeah. And instead of shutting it down, pulling off the rotor, they just keep driving in a Lehi. Sure. And by the time they get to us, if they make it that far, the engine's toast. Gotcha. So it would be nice if they'd just pay attention to the lights or the gauges. And when it's in the red, it means stop. Yeah. Red means stop.
Red means stop. Sure. Yeah. So that's good advice. Okay. And what causes that overheating? Is that
it's usually because they've had coolant leak, like a hose leaking or something like that. Yeah. And so they're low on coolant, so it doesn't have enough to keep the engine cool, but they don't want to stop on the point of the mountain because nobody's out there. Sure. So they just keep driving, and then it ruins it by the time they get down off the point of the mountain. Okay. So, yeah, it's interesting how the point of the mountain has played such a role in our life all this time. My dad, when he had his garage in Lehi, had an old Dodge military truck that they'd converted into a wrecker.
Okay.
And he would go out there at night and pull people off the point of the mountain that would slide off.
Really?
And stuff, yeah, and recover, towing and recovery.
Yeah.
And so now we have problems with the point.
Yeah.
People bring us their cars first.
Sure.
Fixed because they weren't smart enough to stop.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
So,
Any other issues? Any other tips for car owners? I guess that is the oil change recommendations good. Is that the way? Are all those recommendations that we hear? Those right?
Yeah, they've gone on a lot of the oil changes now, letting the car figure out how long the oil change should go. So they have it's time to change the oil. When that pops up, it's time to change the oil.
Okay. So as opposed to the sticker that says so many miles.
3,000 miles is typical. The cars can go, 4, some go 6.
Yeah.
But when it says it's time to change the oil, you better change the oil.
Okay.
I change mine every 3,000 miles because I just see what happens to it with all the dirt in the engine.
And you probably enjoy it too, right? It's like fun for you. I get it. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the new cars, they have what they call variable valve timing.
Okay.
So they use the oil to control the timing on the camshafts.
Okay.
And if the oil gets thick and dirty, it can't move, and then it destroys them.
Oh,
and so
okay.
then you end up spending a lot more money. So an oil change, it's not as cheap as it used to be, but it's a lot cheaper than an engine anymore.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
So yeah, I would try to change the oil when it's recommended, and shut it off if the red light comes on, and shut it off.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's perfect. That's good. Have you ever had people career nights go to your like a youth night or something like that? Go to your place.
Relief Society.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All the time.
Do they? Okay. And what do you teach them in those moments?
About the lights.
Okay. Good.
They always want to know, how do you check the oil? And what do you do? What about this? And I go over the basics with them and stuff, and point out things under the hood and that, and let them know that if it's a yellow light, it means caution. Just like when you're going through a street light.
Sure.
Figure it out. You can keep going, but you don't have to stop. But if it's red, it means stop.
Yes.
Well, that means shut the engine down.
Okay. Yeah.
But I haven't done any for a while, but used to do them all the time for the Relief Society.
Okay.
And then we have the scouts come down to the shop all the time so they can raise a car up and they can look underneath it and all of that kind of stuff. So we do things like that too.
Good. Just being part of the community, teaching them these things. And, and obviously it's fun for us to, because a lot of us don't know much about cars, right? That's what we have you for. Here, fix this for us. It's broken. We need some help. So
my daughter teaches second grade out at River Rock, and in the spring she always has what you call a hero day, and it's basically when she brings my wife and I in because we're her heroes, and then we explain why we're the way we are and stuff. And I always take a small Briggs & Stratton lawnmower engine that I've cut away so they can see the internals on how it works, and I've painted a different color so I can explain to it how it works and crank it over and stuff to it. And the kids love it. They think it's great to be able to see it and do all of that.
Yeah.
So give them a little bit of an introductory to it. And I've had to add to it now. I've got a little model bicycle that I've put an electric motor on and say, this is a gas engine, but this is what's coming is electric, so they can see how an electric motor pedals and all that. So they enjoy that, kind of an introduction to it all.
Yeah. Is an electric motor, obviously it's different than, I guess, than a gas-powered motor, but how is there a lot of differences, I guess, there?
The electric motor doesn't have moving parts like a gasoline engine. Has pistons that go up and down, and so the crankshaft is turning, but the piston has to go all the way up and stop and change direction and go down to the bottom and stop and change and go back and forth. Electric motor just turns forward and just keeps going and going. So there's really no limit to how fast it can go until it just blows itself apart. Where a gasoline engine has its limit because of the moving parts that are inside of it and the way it works.
Gotcha.
But explaining that to the kids and showing them how it all works and stuff. So
fun.
Just introductory to it.
Sure.
But they enjoy it.
Good. Hey, this has been great to get to know what you've done, all these different things. Is there anything we haven't covered that you'd want that we should talk about?
Not that I can think of offhand. You've pretty much heard my life.
Which is perfect. That's what we wanted. So that's what we wanted. Since this is a podcast about you and also about Lehi, any things that you would like to see in Lehi, over the next 10 to 20 years, as far as if you were in charge, mayor for the day, kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, there's just so many people and so much traffic and stuff.
Sure.
There's not a lot you can do about that other than just trying to make more roads to be able to get around and stuff. have a daughter who lives out in Saratoga, and it's such a hassle to get out there to see her. But other than that, I don't really know. I like Lehi. It's been a good little town.
Yeah, it's a good town.
So,
yeah. Good. Okay.
But,
hey, thank you for coming on, and thanks for giving us a little bit of your time. I love that you've been part of the community, and I love your desire to fix things and not to give up on them and really to kind of make it work. I love the family legacy of just the family business, even for those that, again, didn't continue on with the automotive part, but obviously learned the skills and probably just learned work ethic and to not give up. I'm sure the second grade teacher, I'm sure she learned some of that too and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I love that.
So yeah, they love teaching. My wife did a preschool in our basement for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And so all the girls wanted to spend more time teaching.
Sure.
And 2 of them have gone into teaching. They're teachers.
Yeah. Which is a very noble profession. We love good teachers. That's what helps the next. And I'm sure that's, between your wife and you, both good teachers yourself, trying to teach this next generation.
Yeah. So, So we love Lehi. I've been here for a while.
Good.
Plan on staying here.
Good.
I already have my plot over
You're staying here forever then, right? Okay. That's good. That's good. I love that. Yeah. Okay. Hey, thanks, Gary. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
Appreciate you coming.
Taking the time.
Yes. No, love it. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on Roots and Branches of Lehi. I hope today's story helped you feel a little more connected to the people who make up our community. Remember, every person here has a unique story, and together, we're what makes Lehi feel like home. If you know someone who would be a great fit for this podcast, please fill out the form in the show notes so we can reach out and schedule an interview. We'd love to hear from you. A big thank you to our sponsors, the Work Harding Home Mortgage Team and Play Harding Nightly Vacation Rentals, for supporting this show and helping us bring our community closer together. Until next time, keep growing those roots and reaching out to your branches. Take care.